Assalamu alaikum students. Today we are going to discuss another important topic of biology, which is about plant tissues. So here we go. Plant tissues, as like animal tissues, they are made up of the similar cells performing a particular function, and that tissues they are organized to form a particular plant or animal organ. So here we are going to discuss about the plant. So in this case, the plant tissues they are joined together to form a particular plant organs like leaves, flowers, and other plant organs. Here you have definition. Plant tissue is a collection of similar cells performing an organized function for the plant. Each plant tissue is specialized for a unique purpose, as you already know. Each tissue which made a particular organ, that organ is specialized for a unique purpose, and they can be combined with other tissues to create organs. When the number of tissues are combined, they form organs such as the leaves, flowers, stems, and roots. The tissues are of the various types. The two major types of the plant tissues are meristematic tissues and permanent tissues. Meristematic tissues are those tissues which have the deviant activity throughout the life of the plant. They remain living throughout the life of the plant, while the permanent tissues are those tissues which are made up after the differentiation of the meristematic tissues. So they meristematic tissues and the permanent tissues, they have further classification. Meristematic tissues further divided into three types or three classes: apical meristem, intercalary meristem, and lateral meristem. While the permanent tissues, they are further divided into the simple tissues and complex tissues. Simple tissues are further divided into parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma. And here again, parenchyma further divided into the two types, erenchyma and florenchyma, while sclerenchyma is further divided into fiber and sclerids. If we talk about the complex tissues, they are further divided into xylem and phloem. So this is a brief outline, or here is a flow chart diagram which represents the types of the tissues. Now in the later slides we will have a brief discussions of all these tissues. If first type of the plant tissues is meristematic tissue, I told you that meristematic tissue is the type of the plant tissues which have the deviant activity throughout the life of the plant, and they are necessary for living for the life of the plant. And when a plant get injury, so these meristematic tissues start deviant and make the new tissues over the injury. Here we have some lines for the meristematic tissues. There are some specialized cells in the plants that are not differentiated and help in the growth of the plants. These cells in a plant can be young and have the ability to divide continuously. They divide continuously throughout the life of the plant. There is a special name for these cells which are called the meristem cells. The tissues that these meristem cells form in the plants is called the meristematic tissue. Meristematic cells are all living cells. The meristematic cells can be oval, their shape may be oval or rounded, or polygonal in shape, and they have a large nucleus because they are living. So they every time have a large nucleus. They are not dead. They are living cells. They have a large nucleus with no vacuoles. In these plant cells, vacuoles is absent. Intercellular spaces between the cells is absent. The cells are also small in size but have a high capacity of are the tissues that have the ability to enlarge, stretch, and differentiate into the other types of the cells. As I told you, the permanent tissues are made up of meristematic tissues after they get differentiated. When the meristematic tissues get differentiate, they convert into the permanent tissues, and in the permanent tissues the vein activity gets stopped. So meristematic activity, they differentiate into the other types of the cells as they mature. So in the young plant, when the plant is young, when it requires fast growth, though then at that time the activity of the meristematic tissue is very fast, and when the plant gets mature, so their activity, not, you cannot say activity do not stop, but it do not stop, but when a plant get injury, so then they start their working, but their activity, when the plant get mature, their activity, their activity remain slow as compared to a young plant. The cells of these tissues are generally young and the immature with the power of the continuous division. Now we'll talk about the permanent tissues. Permanent tissues, these are the tissues, they are the composed of the meristematic tissues. You have known about it now. When the meristematic tissues are differentiated means when they cease their growth, when their growth has been ceased, they may be then they convert into permanent tissues. So the meristematic tissues, they always remain living, while the permanent tissues, they may be living or dead and thin or thick walled. The classification of the meristem. Meristematic tissues or meristem, how they are the classified? The meristems are classified on the basis of their position in the plant body. Where they are present in the plant body, they are classified on that base. They are classified on the basis of their position into the following types. The first one is apical meristem. Apical meristem, its name represents they are present, such meristem are present on the margins or the corners of the plant. Meristem, apical meristem is a meristem which is present in the apices, corners or tips of the main and the lateral roots and shoots. Basically, apical meristem, they are present on the tips of the roots and shoots. They are responsible for the growth of tips of roots and shoots. The second one is intercalary meristem. The meristem, intercalary meristem means in between. Meristem which are found between the mature tissues, which are found between the two mature tissues and continue the cell division activity. Such meristem is called the intercalary meristem. For example, in the bases of the internodes of the grasses. As you have seen in the grasses, they are the number of nodes and the internodes region present. So if they are present between the two mature tissues, between the internodes of the grasses, then they are called as intercalary meristem. And intercalary meristem, they help in increasing the length of the internode, or they help in increasing the length of the plant because they are present between the mature tissues. And the last type is lateral meristem. Lateral meristem, they are present. Lateral meristem is, its name represents that it is present parallel to the plant organs, parallel to the surface of the organ in which they are found. The meristem situated parallel to the circumference of the organ in which they are found. The examples are the vascular cambium. Vascular cambium basically is a plant tissue which is responsible for the thickness of the plant or for the secondary growth of the plant. These meristem help in increasing the thickness of the plant. When the plant is going to increase the thickness of the stem, when the plant is young, its stem is thin, and when it gets mature, its stem becomes thick. So lateral meristem, it is responsible for increasing the thickness of the plant. So here we go. Here in this picture you can see apical meristem, the position of the apical meristem on the tips of the plant. Intercalary meristem, they are present between the tissues, between the mature organs. And the lateral meristem, you can see they are present parallel in a vertical position. In the vertical position they are present in the plant organs. And for your more understanding, I have another picture. In this picture you can see the plant, and now you can see the position of the meristem, apical meristem present on the tips. Okay, lateral meristem, here the lateral meristem is present parallel to the stem, and it is responsible for increasing the thickness of the stem. Okay, and intercalary meristem, basically here the intercalary meristem is not showing, but the intercalary meristem is present between the mature organs. Okay, you have seen in the above picture. Now the classification of the permanent tissues. How the permanent tissues are classified? The first one we have discussed, the permanent tissues are classified in the two main types, simple and the complex tissues. But before the simple and complex tissues, here is a type of the permanent tissues, that is epidermis. You all of know that epidermis is the plant. Epidermis is the made up of those plant tissues which covers or surrounds the cell. Epidermis basically is the boundary of the cell. Okay, there are the several basic forms of the plant tissues, form mostly identical types of the cells. Epidermis basically is the plant tissue which is formed from the same kind of the cells or similar type of the cells. They are similar in shape. The first is the epidermis. The epidermis in the plants serves the same function as it does in the animals. In the animals, we have seen the cell membrane. It surrounds the cell and it protects the inside organelles of the cells. And in case of the plants, epidermis also represents the same function. It is a plant tissue formed of the thin and the densely packed cells, meant to separate the inside of the organism from the outside. Okay, it's one of the function of the epidermis is it separates the inside of the organisms from the outside. The epidermis is often covered in a layer of the waxy protection. Epidermis has a layer of the waxy protection. Waxy protection means a protective layer is present on the surface of the epidermis, which is made up of a waxy substance or a substance made up of the fat, like suberin or cuticle, to stop the plant from burning or drying out in the sun. The epidermis also contains the guard cells which operate the small openings called stoma. You have known about this, that the plant epidermis contain guard cells or the stomata for the gaseous exchange. These stoma control the passage of air and water through the leaves, allowing the plants to move water and the nutrients up from the soil. Sometimes another form of the simple plant tissues covers the epidermis cork. Sometimes another plant tissue present which covers the epidermis. That plant tissue is called as cork. Cork is a plant tissue. This is the tissue we cannot see in this tissue in young plants. This can be seen in the woody plants. When the plant gets mature, it becomes old, so its surface or the surface of the bark or the stem is covered by a woody structure which is called as cork. So cork is a plant tissue we can see in the woody plants which dies and becomes outer layer of the bark. This tissue is also soaked with a special waxy substance. Okay, now the cork is also made up of or also composed of with the special waxy substances. Waxy substances basically are the protective substances made up of the fats, and their function is to protect the plant against insects, sun and the other elements. Now we are going to talk about the simple tissues, and the first type of the simple tissues is parenchyma. Parenchyma, what is parenchyma tissue? First, we have talked about the epidermis. Epidermis is the outer boundary of the cell, and as we go inside the plant, the next plant tissue is the parenchyma. This tissue is composed of thin-walled cells with large central vacuoles. Vacuoles is present in it, and the turgor pressure of these vacuoles is elevated when they are full of water, which gives structure and support to the plant. When the turgor pressure is increased, the cell becomes turgid and gives mechanical support to the plant. Parenchyma tissue is found in all parts of the plant and makes up the large portion of the leaves, stems, and roots. Parenchyma tissues basically they are found in every part of the plant, and the large portion of the seed, leaves, and the stems and the roots is made up of the parenchyma tissue. In the leaves, parenchyma plant tissue is highly involved in the process of the photosynthesis. All parenchyma plant tissue is living and carries out the function continually. Parenchyma tissues, when wounded, can revert back into the meristematic plant tissue or to regrow damaged areas. Okay, when a plant gets any wound, so parenchyma tissues start their meristematic activity and regrow the damaged areas. Parenchyma tissues are further divided into the two types, arrenchyma and collenchyma. What are the arrenchyma? Arrenchyma, their name represents arrow. Aren or arrow means air. Arrenchyma is a spongy tissue. Spongy tissue means it has a large number of the air spaces. That it is a spongy tissue that forms spaces or air channels in the leaves, stems, and the roots of some plants, which allows the exchange of the gases between the shoot and the root. So arrenchyma is a type of the parenchyma tissue, and they have the large intercellular spaces for the gaseous exchange. And the arrenchyma, they are mainly present in those tissues which in those plants which grow in the waterlogged areas. Waterlogged areas means where the water in the soil is found in plenty of amount. Like in the rice field, you can see the water amount is very high. So in the rice, arrenchyma tissue present in large amount because they plant need to respire for its growth. So arrenchyma tissue, because they have the large intercellular spaces, so they give the plant cells large number of the intercellular spaces to respire and for the gaseous exchange purpose. Chlorenchyma, their name is also represents chlorin. Chlorin means they have chloroplast. Okay, so chlorenchyma is a special type of the parenchyma tissue that contains chloroplast, and chloroplast is a plant tissue or chloroplast is a plant organ which is responsible for the photosynthesis. So due to the presence of the chloroplast, the chlorenchyma tissues are photosynthetic. Chlorenchyma makes up the mesophyll tissues of the plant leaves and is also found in the stems of the certain plant species. Chlorenchyma basically they are present in the mesophyll tissues. Mesophyll tissues basically is a type of the tissues present in the plant leaves, and in the mesophyll tissues photosynthesis takes place. So chlorenchyma makes up the mesophyll tissues of the plant leaves because they due to the presence of the chloroplast they are responsible for the shape of the cells of three types of the simple tissues: parenchyma, collenchyma, and the sclerenchyma tissue. We will discuss the sclerenchyma in the later slides. Here you can see in the this is the cross section, horizontal cross section, and this is the longitudinal or vertical cross section of the parenchyma tissues, and same in this case of the collenchyma, and same in this case of the sclerenchyma. You can see in the parenchyma tissues intercellular spaces are large. In the case of the collenchyma tissues, intercellular spaces are still present but they are less, while in case of the sclerenchyma there are no intercellular spaces, and collenchyma parenchyma contain of thin-walled cells. Collenchyma contain a slightly thick-walled. They are thick-walled but not as much as the sclerenchyma. They are slightly thick-walled, while the sclerenchyma are they are compactly arranged cells, and they are thick wall tissues. They are thick wall tissues because they have the deposition of lignin in them. So here are the picture which represents the particular shape of three types of the simple tissue. And in the later slides we are going to discuss about the collenchyma and the sclerenchyma in detail. Okay, collenchyma is a plant tissue that is similar to the sclerenchyma in one aspect, that it provides a spore, because collenchyma and the sclerenchyma, they both have one function in common, that they provide the support to the plant. Collenchyma is a living tissue composed of the more or less elongated cells. Their cells are elongated and they are unevenly thick. Unevenly thick means somewhere thickening is present, while on the other place thickening is absent. Glistening means they have the glue-like characteristics and the non-lignified walls. The term collenchyma is derived from the Greek word colla. Colla means glue, and this name represents or refers to the thick glistening wall characteristics of the collenchyma. Often collenchyma plant tissue is seen in the young plants with a limited number of the cells. As such, only a portion of the cell wall in these cells will be thickened for spore. This plant tissue is usually found wherever there is new growth and the other structure cells have not set in yet. Okay, collenchyma basically present in the young growing plant organs. It provides support to the young growing plant tissues. Collenchyma is absent in stems and leaves of those plants which develop sclerenchyma at an early stage. If a plant develops the sclerenchyma tissue at an early stage, so collenchyma is absent in those cases. Tissue, that is sclerenchyma. Sclerenchyma is a simple tissue composed of the thick walled cells, often lignified, whose function is support. Their walls are lignified, while the walls of the collenchyma are non-lignified. The function of the sclerenchyma is support and sometimes protection. It is the only plant tissue. Here, an important point is it is the only plant tissue which becomes functional after its death. When they are dead, then they become functional. It is a structural tissue which dies, but the cell wall and the structure remain. Sclerenchyma plant tissue are of the two types, fibers and sclerids. And these fibers and sclerids, they provide the support strength to the various organs. This plant tissue is commonly found in the stem, bark and the hard shells of the, where it is found? It is found in the bark of the tree. It is found in the hard shell of the nuts such as a pear, almond, etc. Here in the latest slide you will be more clear about this sclerenchyma tissue, that how it is functional after its death. Okay, there are the two types of the sclerenchyma cells, sclerids and fibers. And where they are found? They are found in the hard coverings of seeds. Hard covering of seeds and nuts. Nuts like almonds, like walnut, their hard covering, you might have seen their hard coverings. Their hard coverings are made up of this sclerenchyma tissues. They are dead tissues, but they are functional after their death. As you can see in the case of the coconut, their hard shell is made up of the sclerenchyma tissues, and the sclerenchyma tissues are the dead tissues, but they are performing their functions after function after their death. They are also found in the veins of the leaves and stem around vascular bundles. Sclerenchyma. Hard covering of the walnut, almond is made up of sclerenchyma tissues. They are non-living, but they are functional after their tree bark. Here you can see the tree bark is made up of the sclerenchyma tissues. The hard tree bark in an old plant, in an old tree, is made up of the sclerenchyma tissues. Here you can see this tree bark is made up of non-living tissues, but non-living tissues are functional after their death. They are giving the protection and support to the tree stem or tree. Okay. So as we have discussed that sclerenchyma tissues are of the two types, fibers and sclerids. So they are of the two types. So fibers and sclerids are different from each other, and here is a difference. Sclerenchyma fibers are elongated. Fiber, as their name represents, fibers are elongated cells which have long tapered ends and are present in most parts of the plant. While the sclerenchyma sclerids are the cells, they have a various type of the shape, and they are distributed in the cortex part of the plant with xylem and the phloem of the plant. And from where they originated, fibers originated from the meristematic tissues, while the sclerids originated from the mature parenchymal cells. And fibers are elongated, and sclerids are broad and in varied shapes. Fibers have the tapering ends, and sclerids have blunt ends. Here we have a picture. Fibers are elongated, having the tapering ends, while the sclerids may be of the different shape. They have the various type of the shapes, and both their function is the provide the protection to the plant organs, and they become functional after their death. And both are present in the nut shells like almonds, walnut, and in the bark of the tree. Read the data from the book if you want. And thank you for your listening.